MicroStar International, otherwise known as MSI, had a major unveiling about a week ago at CES, where scattered amongst the OEM customized 4080 Supers, new laptop designs, and motherboards they touted, there was another major standout, a 32-inch gaming monitor. That, among its extremely impressive specs, also had another hidden surprise, an AI accelerator. Matt Bellamy, the ultra-famous singer, songwriter, and frontman of the band Muse, is quoted as saying, "In the long term, artificial intelligence and automation are going to be taking over so much of what gives humans a feeling of purpose. By extension, we as gamers could also take this to mean the human element of what makes gaming great could be up against yet another new and interesting challenge, especially in the world of cheating." At CES, MSI unveiled its newest and greatest monitor, but the hitch is this little red circle with a skull and arrow on it. And while this demo isn't the most accurate thing in the world, remember that in 2022, when people were messing around in Midjourney, it couldn't draw fingers. But now, and the world's largest studios are turning to AI generative content. The future of AI learning algorithms and machine learning systems are now among us. Our video cards are laced with it with NVIDIA DLSS. Nearly every large gaming studio has begun turning toward AI-generated NPC models, dialogues, and even music in order to reduce cost and improve the timeline. My ping to the US East servers for Dark and Darker is usually somewhere around 50 to 60 ms. Right now, it's at 16. And that is because of this VPN program, GearUP Booster, who has been kind enough to sponsor today's video. GearUP Booster's service reduces and stabilizes latency between your client and the game server by providing an optimal data path between your client and that server, especially during peak times when everyone is using the internet at once. Like taking a private jet to work instead of having to deal with all that traffic. A lot less stressful, right? This is especially key when optimizing these connections for people that have an area of the globe that isn't very good for internet infrastructure. This reduces all of those intermittent ping spikes that you suffer from and provides for a latency-free gaming experience, and it does it for a lot less than the competitors in this space. Seriously, it's like half as expensive. All you have to do is click on the game that you want to boost, and then start the game. That's it. I tried this during a recent gaming session, and you can really, really feel the difference. So check it out using the link in the description below, where each new registry gets a 3-day free trial, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. And a very special thank you to the folks over at GearUp for sponsoring this video. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. MSI, with its now new monitor, looked toward people that would like that extra edge. In this case, with the onboard accelerator having been trained on the game League of Legends, it would mark where enemies were just off the screen based on monitoring the minimap and alert the player as to such. Now, we've already seen things like this in games like Fortnite with visual indicators for audio, but this is something entirely new and different. This not only gives them a bit of a sixth sense about incoming trouble, all of which is done without having to do any data transfer to the host computer, by the way. This is done just on the monitor. On the surface, this seems like at best an unfair advantage and at worst outright cheating. But once this is on the market, who's to say there aren't people out there that are in the process of and possibly already testing injectable packs that would allow a player to utilize on-screen cheats to detect other players? Combine this with already existing radar tech being piped in from a secondary computer and/or overlaid wireframes piped in from a secondary computer, and you could provide yourself with relatively undetectable cheats due to those cheats having never existed on the PC you're playing the game on. Again, all of what MSI is doing to process images on this screen is being done by an AI accelerator inside of the monitor. Think of it like next step generation in having a hardware cursor on the screen, a hardware target, like turning on that hardware crosshair. But now this is one that will point out where enemies are hiding in shadows.
Nobody's
and if you're a content creator, who's gonna know?
They're gonna know.
People are cracked, or is it the monitor? When it comes to games like Escape from Tarkov, where the stakes are already super high, And the profit margins for guys that are cheating for income are already higher than any other game out there, according to them. You could imagine how there could be a market for people wanting to nearly disconnect themselves entirely from the game's ability to detect them, to have it presented to them in such a nice, neat package. How could you not want that? Of course, this is the first iteration of something like this to have ever hit the market in the first place, but now you can already see the wheels turning from every single competitor in this marketplace. The arms race for AI embedded and accelerated monitors has now begun, thanks to MSI. The question is now, what are we going to do about it? Because there's not a whole lot we can do. You could potentially ban AI integrated tools and peripherals such as this from gaming tournaments, but what about the culture of the game itself? If enough of the casual player base were to adopt these AI advances and all of its potential abuse, then it turns into an entirely separate kind of arms race where now cheat devs scramble to find something to detect, while the rest of us suffer through wireframe lobby after wireframe lobby while the anti-cheat devs try to do their job, which to an extent we're already kind of doing in games like Tarkov, right boys? But I digress. There's the I digress for today's video, everybody. We did it. We made it. The second option is legislation. The issue with this being that while something may be outlawed in one country, it will likely not be in another. And let's face it, it's not all that hard to get something you really want imported if you're willing to bend the rules a certain way. And monitors like this, if outlawed by regulation, would likely just end up being met with some way to circumvent it all, and they'd find their way into the country anyway. Or there would be some amount of nuance and a design shift that would circumvent the laws, which would cause more paperwork and red tape, etc., etc., etc. In games like Tarkov, where the stakes are high and the incentives for cheating are even higher, having tools like this at your disposal would prove invaluable. I can count at least a few different ways that the software bros attempting to monetize their newfound overlay offerings would jump at the chance.
Yeah, boy.
After all, if the images on the screen are, at their core, a creation of the monitor's onboard AI, we will definitely have a major issue in the long run if cheat developers are able to bring their software to market in tandem with these AI monitor releases. Yeah, I said releases there. Let's face it, there's going to be more of these. The entire world has shifted in attitude toward AI generation. It's everywhere now. This year, we will likely see an explosion of AI-assisted things everywhere, in person and in the media, especially when it comes to visual work, and especially if there's money to be made. But I guarantee you, we will likely see AI generation working its way toward that of video games, gaming, profitability, profit margins, marketing, you name it, because of all the money that's involved. They're definitely not going to face all of that computational power toward, I don't know, curing cancer, or coming up with better ways to clean up the environment, or reduce emissions, or come up with a way to combat Alzheimer's, right? Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. If you would be so kind as consider subbing the channel. If you enjoy this type of content, we do this kind of stuff all the time. I would very much love that. Hey, there's a little bell icon too last time I checked. Maybe click that. That would be pretty sweet. In the meantime, if you want to come and check me out live, I am live nearly every single day, 7 days a week, starting somewhere around 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/Onepeg. Thanks so much for lending me your eyeballs, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.